standard MC cable can be used in the physical therapy center. According to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, a patient care facility is defined as any facility, institution, or portion thereof where patients receive medical treatment or are provided medical services. Physical therapy centers generally do not meet the NEC definition of a patient care facility because they typically do not provide medical treatment or medical services in the same way a hospital or clinic would. Therefore, the NEC requirements specific to patient care facilities may not apply to physical therapy centers. Standard MC cable is a type of metal-clad cable suitable for use in commercial buildings, including physical therapy centers. It is a durable and flexible cable resistant to moisture, corrosion, and abrasion, making it a practical choice for general electrical wiring. Here are some additional considerations for electrical installations in physical therapy centers. Firstly, all electrical work must be performed by a licensed electrician to ensure compliance with local and national electrical codes. Secondly, all electrical equipment must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shocks and ensure the safe operation of equipment. Thirdly, all electrical outlets in areas where water or moisture is present, such as near sinks or exercise equipment, must be protected by ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs. These devices quickly cut off power in the event of a ground fault, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Fourthly, all electrical lighting must be adequate for the tasks performed in each area of the physical therapy center, ensuring safety and comfort for both staff and patients. Fifthly, all electrical wiring must be installed in accordance with the NEC and any local amendments to ensure safety and compliance. When planning the electrical system for a physical therapy center, several specific requirements and considerations are essential to ensure safety, functionality, and compliance with electrical codes and regulations. These considerations can range from the general wiring methods to the specific needs of different areas within the facility. Firstly, consider the general wiring methods. The choice of wiring method, such as MC cable, EMT conduit, or other approved wiring methods, should be based on the specific requirements of the installation environment and local electrical codes. MC cable is often used for its flexibility and ease of installation, but other methods may be more appropriate in certain situations. Secondly, look at the branch circuits. The number and capacity of branch circuits should be sufficient to accommodate all electrical loads within the physical therapy center, including lighting, receptacles, 8-track equipment, and specialized medical or therapy equipment. Careful planning is needed to ensure that circuits are not overloaded and that there is adequate capacity for future expansion. Thirdly, the grounding and bonding system should be considered. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety and to minimize the risk of electrical shock. The grounding system should be designed and installed in accordance with the NEC requirements, including the use of grounding electrodes, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers. Fourthly, you must consider lighting. Adequate lighting is crucial for creating a safe and comfortable environment within the physical therapy center. Lighting should be designed to provide sufficient illumination for all tasks performed in each area, while also minimizing glare and shadows. Energy-efficient lighting options, such as LED fixtures, can help reduce energy consumption and lower operating costs. Fifthly, receptacle placement is important. Receptacles should be strategically located throughout the physical therapy center to provide convenient access to power for equipment, tools, and other devices. Receptacles in areas where water or moisture is present, such as near sinks or exercise equipment, should be GFCI protected. Sixthly, 8-track systems need to be considered. The heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC, systems in the physical therapy center should be designed and installed in accordance with applicable codes and standards to provide a comfortable and healthy environment for patients and staff. Electrical connections for HVAC equipment should be properly sized and protected to ensure reliable operation. Seventhly, emergency power systems may be required. Depending on the size and nature of the physical therapy center, an emergency power system may be required to provide backup power in the event of a utility outage. Emergency power systems can include generators, battery backup systems, or other approved sources of power. Eighthly, signage and labeling is important. Clear and conspicuous signage and labeling should be provided throughout the physical therapy center to identify electrical panels, circuits, and equipment. This helps to ensure that electrical systems can be easily located and maintained. Ninthly, consider special equipment. Certain areas of the physical therapy center may require specialized electrical equipment, such as Whirlpool's hydrotherapy equipment or electrical stimulation devices. These devices should be connected to dedicated circuits and protected by appropriate safety devices, such as GFCIs. Tenthly, compliance with accessibility standards is a must. Electrical installations in the physical therapy center should comply with accessibility standards such as the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, to ensure that individuals with disabilities can safely access and use electrical equipment. This may include requirements for receptacle height, switch location, and accessible signage. 11th, inspections and testing. All electrical work in the physical therapy center should be inspected and tested by a qualified electrical inspector to ensure compliance with applicable codes and standards. Regular maintenance and testing should also be performed to identify and address any potential electrical hazards. 12th, coordination with other trades is important. Electrical work should be coordinated with other trades, such as plumbing, HVAC, and construction, to ensure that electrical systems are properly integrated with other building systems. This can help to avoid conflicts and ensure that the building is safe and functional. 13th, future expansion considerations are something to keep in mind. The electrical system should be designed to accommodate future expansion or changes in the physical therapy center. This may include providing spare capacity in electrical panels, raceways, and conduits, as well as planning for additional branch circuits and receptacles. By carefully considering these specific requirements and considerations, you can help to ensure that the electrical system in the physical therapy center is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. Additionally, it's always recommended to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor to ensure that the electrical system is properly designed and installed to meet the specific needs of the facility. Now let us delve more deeply into some of the considerations previously mentioned. When we talk about general wiring methods, it is important to understand the different types of wiring methods available and their suitability for different applications within a physical therapy center. Firstly, metal-clad cable, or MC cable, as we have been discussing, is a common choice due to its flexibility and ease of installation. It consists of insulated conductors enclosed in a metallic sheath, providing mechanical protection and serving as an equipment grounding conductor. MC cable is suitable for both exposed and concealed applications in dry locations. Secondly, electrical metallic tubing, or EMT conduit, is another popular wiring method consisting of thin-walled steel or aluminum tubing. EMT provides excellent mechanical protection and can be used in both exposed and concealed applications. It is often used for branch circuits and feeders in commercial buildings. Thirdly, rigid metal conduit, or RMC, is a heavy-walled steel conduit that provides superior mechanical protection and is suitable for use in corrosive environments or where physical damage is a concern. RMC is typically used for underground installations or in areas subject to heavy traffic or impact. Fourthly, non-metallic sheathed cable, or NM cable, commonly known as Romex, is a type of cable consisting of insulated conductors enclosed in a non-metallic sheath. NM cable is suitable for use in dry, interior locations and is commonly used for residential wiring. However, it is generally not permitted for use in commercial buildings due to its limited mechanical protection. Fifthly, flexible metal conduit, or FMC, is a flexible metallic conduit that is used for connecting electrical equipment or devices that require movement or vibration. FMC is often used for connecting motors, transformers, and other equipment that may need to be relocated or adjusted. The selection of the appropriate wiring method should be based on factors such as the environment, the type of occupancy, the voltage and current requirements, and the applicable electrical codes and standards. It is important to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor to ensure that the wiring method is properly selected and installed. When it comes to branch circuits, Adequate branch circuits are crucial for ensuring that all electrical loads within the physical therapy center can be safely and reliably supplied with power. Firstly, lighting circuits are needed to provide adequate lighting for all areas of the physical therapy center, including treatment rooms, exercise areas, waiting rooms, and offices. Separate branch circuits should be provided for lighting to prevent overloading and ensure that lighting remains functional even if other circuits trip. Secondly, receptacle circuits are required to provide power for electrical equipment, tools, and devices used throughout the physical therapy center. Receptacles should be strategically located to provide convenient access to power in all areas where it is needed. Separate branch circuits should be provided for receptacles to prevent overloading and ensure that equipment can be operated safely. Thirdly, HVAC equipment circuits provide power for the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC, equipment in the physical therapy center. HVAC equipment typically requires dedicated branch circuits due to its high power consumption. Separate branch circuits should be provided for each piece of HVAC equipment to prevent overloading and ensure that the equipment operates efficiently. Fourthly, specialized equipment circuits are needed to provide power for specialized medical therapy equipment used in the physical therapy center, such as wall pulls, hydrotherapy equipment, or electrical stimulation devices. These devices typically require dedicated branch circuits due to their specific power requirements and safety considerations. Separate branch circuits should be provided for each piece of specialized equipment to prevent overloading and ensure that the equipment operates safely and reliably. The number and capacity of branch circuits should be determined based on a load calculation that takes into account all of the electrical loads within the physical therapy center. The load calculation should be performed by a qualified electrical engineer or contractor in accordance with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for protecting people and equipment from electrical shock and ensuring the safe and reliable operation of electrical systems. Firstly, the grounding electrode system provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source in the event of a ground fault. The grounding electrode system typically consists of one or more grounding electrodes, such as ground rods, ground plates, or underground metallic water pipes that are connected to the building's grounding system. Secondly, the equipment grounding conductor, or EG, provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source from electrical equipment and devices. The EGC is typically a wire that is run along with the circuit conductors and connected to the metal enclosures of electrical equipment and devices. Thirdly, bonding jumpers are used to connect metal parts of the electrical system together to create a continuous, low impedance path for fault current. Bonding jumpers are typically used to bond metal conduits, enclosures, and other metal parts of the electrical system to the grounding system. All electrical equipment and devices should be properly grounded in accordance with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. Grounding connections should be made using approved methods and materials and should be regularly inspected to ensure that they are in good condition.